Hashim has been a dedicated supporter of the Sudanese program since its inception in 2002. And where he was part of the trade union railways in Sudan until he left the Sudan because of politics, right? And so we are very glad to have him to talk about the role of the trade union in the diaspora. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to address you, and thanks all the audience and those on the Zoom. I'm going to speak about the role of the Sudanese trade unions in diaspora. And I am a trade unionist myself, and trade union is a continuous, renewable, non-political association of wage and salary earners for the purpose of maintaining and improving the conditions of their work and the relation to work and employment. Thanks, Dr. Mansour, leave me of many issues which I wanted to mention about the support. So the objectives of trade unions, and they maintain and improve the conditions they need, and they work for the production and welfare of the state. They develop intellectual qualifications and potentials, and have a national role to play in defending and fighting for democracy and defending the supremacy of the state. And they have, they are as a pressure group, they influence the economic policy of the government and other issues concerning their members. Why do we have trade unions in the diaspora? There's a change of Asal mentioned before, Asal, that the migration changed from brain drain to forced migration. Most of the trade unions are trade unions as outside the country, and there's a free environment outside in better, at least, conditions in Sudan, and they need to organize and reinstate the legitimate trade unions that have been abolished or proscribed by the military regime. What have they been doing, and what can they do now? Just trade unionists, in coordination with the civil society organizations, they perform solidarity actions, exposing the nature of the military regime, its heinous crimes, and its threat to international peace and security. And they attract the support of the international community and United Nations. They address the ILO, they address TUC, ICTOR, International Center of Trade Union Rights, Liberation, and all parliaments of democratic countries. For example, the EG, the UK, 2 houses, and number 10 Downing Street in Westminster, as well as all the world professional organizations. Doctors organizations, engineers unions, Arab lawyers union, journalists, international journalists, and the like, all the professional organizations. And as professional organization around the world, they launched campaigns calling for support of Sudan and calling for freedom, peace, and justice. Activities and diplomats in strengthening the relations with the people of the host countries, and like UK, the Middle East, and United States of America. And a good example is our ambassador at Washington, Nuruddin, the brave man. He was able to succeed in getting the support of the Congress, most members of the Congress, because he was giving information about the Sudan and enlightening those people, and the extent that they supported him in his stance against the dismissal of 100 diplomats and ambassadors, and they signed an accusation, and they were dismissed by the regime, and he refused to hand over the embassy to those criminals. Other side of support, financial, material, and moral support, I think have been covered by Professor Asal for all the Sudanese diaspora. So it's in the form of logistics. Our help and support is in the form of logistics, management tools, information, and solidarity action, and making use of the media, press conferences, TV interviews, etc., etc. And those activities, some of those examples of those activities, we established trade unions in the UK, and in coordination with other professionals outside the UK. We established the Doctors Union. It was already starting since the 90s, and 5 other professional trade unions. And we called all the professions, they called for a trade union alliance between them to joining hands. And in 1994, they held their conference. On the fringe of conference, they had a call, Sudan call for support to Sudan in all aspects. On the 2nd of March 2014, the preliminary meeting was held, consisting of all the trade unions, all the professional trade unions, all the civil society organizations, and all the political parties and activists, human rights activists and human rights organizations. And they were researching and discussing the opposition movement inside Sudan. And late in 2017, they established a call for joining hands and established what is known as Professional Coordinating Committee. And this is a self-drive, and it mobilized all the forces in the UK, which led to the opposition struggle till the revolution. Objectives of those objectives, in fact, are exercising the role, exercising the role for change and democratic transition, the removal of the dismissal and dismissal of the dictatorial and National Islamic Front regime. I call it deunification and eradication from the roots. I remember Dr. John Garang was referring to eradication from the roots, as he said he was insisting that they should be eradicated roots and branch. But unfortunately, this didn't happen. We continue to step up the words and slogans raised to this till the outbreak of the revolution, and contributing in rehabilitation, building and development, and continued the struggle non-stop through all means and protecting and trying to protect the revolution from any setbacks. And this was a condition for the continuation of the struggle. But after the revolution and before the war, we continued the same thing, continue the maintenance works which are run inside Sudan. We support that for maintenance for utilities and cleaning of the capital and so on. We were so hopeful and inspired. So people were pleased, in fact, and had a period of relaxation after the participation of the alternative program, which is concerned with the alternative political program for the country, together with the survival economic program of the freedom and change, which both form the base for the economic conference, and continued the support, as I said. And we had the program a new program for rehabilitation and reformation of the state structure. We brought all the ministers to chair and discuss in a sort of symposiums and meetings. We started with the National Electricity Corporation, Sudan Railways Corporation, Commerce and Industry, Oil and Gas, workshop about the PPP, Public-Private Partnership, and River Nile morphology and erosion. And we asked the ministers to show us their programs, and we presented our programs, and we agreed on the follow-up of those programs. And just we finished 5 ministries or 5 aspects of building the country. It was stopped and aborted by the reactionary elements of the National Islamic regime and those anti-revolutionary elements, and the coup of the 25th of October 2021 of Al-Burhan and his colleague Hamiti. And these are the activities. It means those have been all over the world. It's not only on the UK. And those are the symposiums we've done with the ministers. And we are committed to follow up those. But unfortunately, everything stopped, and even the ministers disappeared. During the war, of course, all of you noticed the unprecedented damage, and in particular Khartoum and Darfur, and the people, and the killing and displacement. So the trade unionists had a plan, two-pronged plan, or 2 tracks. Track 1 is the burning issue, about the burning issue, calling for stopping the war and working on that through and by all means available, and the urgent call for support of Sudanese diaspora to Sudan. And the women, in fact, role in this was instrumental because they had got brilliant projects for revenue attracting sent to Sudan. And then we continued also solidarity action jointly with the organization of MENA. MENA Solidarity is a Middle East and North Africa solidarity. We had the conference with them, all the professionals had a conference attended by all the trade unions in the UK and representatives in Europe, Canada, and the United States. This was support to the Sudan, and our representatives, the professional participating in this conference, they called for the support, the solidarity, and donations, which have been also to be sent to Sudan. The work is easing and mitigating the effects and verification of the war, and started the humanitarian issues, living conditions, both in displaced areas, in the displacement areas, and inside the cities. And we issued render support to the doctors and engineers to help them to deliver, in spite of the obstructions done to them by the Janjaweed attacking the hospital and entrenching in the hospital and stopping them from their work. And both engineers and the engineers were pushed out of the electric stations and water supplies, water treatment stations, and so they couldn't do their work. We have a pilot scheme for solar energy for the hospital emergencies, and this is a scheme for, in fact, operating the life-saving machines. The extent of the destruction reached Omdurman, Shambat village, which connects Omdurman to Khartoum North. This is part of the damage, greater damage to Khartoum. In fact, I was sent, Dr. Shahi and maybe Richard sent me a lot of photographs of gutted Khartoum.
and I didn't show them here because they are very difficult to look at and very disturbing. But at least in the media, you could have seen that. As far as the displacement, the crucial problem with those displaced in Chad, the border of Chad, and the border with Egypt. And the most serious one is the border with Egypt, where people have to stay for weeks and months, and thousands of immigrants, and no facilities. The place is ill-equipped. There are no beds, no sheds, no difficulties of food and water. And most serious thing is that they have no toilets. The migrants want to release themselves in the desert. So the engineers, the project engineers, we sent to our engineers some drawings and maps for temporary toilets and semi-permanent toilets designed for some sort of structure which could be easily constructed, sort of soak-away bits with septic tanks and so on. And then plans for making sheds with the local materials, and some assistance in the transport of requirements like water and so on and so forth. But still, this is too little to do. We have to do more. Here is this solar energy scheme. It was sent to be applied to Wad Naim Hospital south of Madani, outside Wad Madani, and it has been, a feasibility study has been studied, and Wad Naim Hospital is specialized in dialysis. They have 8 machines, dialysis machines, and this could be very helpful. So it was used for the machines and lighting as well as ventilation. The cost is only $75,000, and we were about to implement the project. The Janjaweed left Khartoum and moved to Wad Madani, and the first thing they did, they targeted this hospital. I don't know why. Maybe they have been informed of this project or not, but they have, of course, the destruction have been all over the Jazeera area, and the hospital inside Wad Madani, and they included this hospital of Wad Naim. And this is a conference I talked about, and has been attended by all British trade unions and trade unions, as well as the Sudanese trade unions, together with MENA, Solidarity. And it is a continuous thing. They're continuing those meetings. The war, of course, resolution forces and the trade unions around the whole world, they continued their mission of support and solidarity, and looking forward. This not only in the UK, but the campaign was all over the world. And the program, they have a program for of the steering committee of the Federation of Sudanese Engineers inside, together with the engineers outside in the diaspora. We had initiated a program for a national project for building the country after the war. And it's a sort of a lot of meetings, symposiums, research works, and already being addressed. It started with the plan for Greater Khartoum. Some of our architecture engineers did the plan, but they have this project has got certain needs which have been discussed. This project needs to be comprehensive and inclusive, comprehensive for the whole country, and all the people should participate in this and have their point of view. And we see how to build sustainable cities, how to have outreach for the social cohesion, and how to plan a sort of moderate development, and consider all the diversity of the Sudan and equality and other things. But the main conditions for implication of this project is that we have to have a civil, democratic, constitutional government elected by the people for the people. So this only could be implemented under those conditions. It had to be done by the government with the assistance of them. So the future in the role, in the proportion in the role for the future, they were faced by 3 questions. The first question, we want to know the point of view of the governments towards the trade unions. The first question is the political parties. Has the political party any vision or thoughts as for the role of the future towards trade unions? Of course, any role should observe the neutrality and independence of trade unions and industrial relations, and having that they must understand that the trade unions are the protective forces, and they are responsible for building and other issues, material issues of development. And the political side is for the government, but they have to be related to each other and work in coordination. The second question, should the trade unions be involved in the future governments? Yes, but with conditions, because the trade unions are the watchdogs and not hunters. The third question, will the ruling party give priority to the aforesaid national development project with respect to economy, funding, and importance? Of course, the project itself is deciding the priorities and starting with the infrastructure, which those governments, all the successful governments, used to neglect and don't care of it. And of course, due to they are interested in governance, and this is due to the political virus of the political parties and disputes and whatnot. They even failed to break the cycle of democracy in dictatorship. In the era of deglobalization, they need the need of the international community, and they need the support and coordination with the trade unions so that they can help them. We ask for the commitment of the government to this program, and above all, committing to creating a conducive atmosphere for the trade unions to work and implement this. So the future role, in summary, lies on the material and practical side of the building the state structure and development. On the political side, of course, for the government, as I said, they organize and utilize the cooperation, coordination, and integration of the trade unions in the diaspora, and act in coordination with solidarity with their affiliations in Sudan, finalize the national development program till implementation, and strengthen the unity. And joint unity is the key word, and joint action with the government and with the help of the international community. They need also to be able to in facing the combating issues like poverty, illiteracy, wages, brain, peace and war, racism, discrimination against women, violence, and their daily living conditions, blah, blah, blah. And they try jointly. Okay, this is the future. We hope for.
Thank you very much. So all the questions will be later. We will have half an hour question, Hashim paper, as well as the others. But I just want to make one point. Perhaps Hashim will think about it. In the old days, since independence, the collaboration between the trade union and the political parties were really very effective. But now, political parties, this is anachronistic. They are absolutely useless. There are no constitution to any political parties. They are also just restricted themselves to Khartoum. They have no roots in the countryside. And that's the problem. The trade union have to adjust to the reality of Sudan nowadays, not to think of the past. The past is gone. This is very, very, perhaps you could answer that.